Welcome back to the deep dive. You hand us your sources, and we hand you back the distilled insights.
And today we've got a really interesting one. It sits right on the bleeding edge of, well, a few different things.
A few different worlds, really. We're talking about the creator economy, we're talking about AI, and some very specific genre music.
Yeah, we are focused on this fascinating new audio project out of Japan. It's called a Go Garage.
Right, a garage.
Yeah.
And this is so much more than just, a guy making music.
Oh, absolutely. This is like a living document. Our sources paint this picture of a professional, a very technically minded person navigating the very earliest days of mass market AI creativity.
And the creator's name is Isolgo. He's building this incredibly specific niche product around what has to be one of the most technically demanding genres out there.
Metal. And he's using tools that require, and this is the key, zero traditional musical skill.
That's the core tension, isn't it? That's what we really need to dig into. But before we do, let's set the stage a little. So the creator, Isogogo, is based in Kobe. He launched this new project on a very deliberate date.
New Year's Day?
New Year's Day.
Yeah.
And just a few days before that, on December 29th, he turned 40. His day job is as an IT engineer.
And that background is so important here. He's not a starving artist.
No.
He's a skilled technician, and he's applying that kind of engineering mindset to art. He mentions he used to be known in the Japanese voice streaming community, the音声配信界.
But he seems to be moving on from that.
Completely. He basically says that identity is dead. This new thing, a Go Garage, it's a radical pivot. It's designed to leverage his technical brain, not his old streaming persona.
Which brings us to the mission statement. It really reflects that technical, almost research-oriented mindset.
Precisely. He's very clear. He calls the show a laboratory tie for all his creative projects.
A laboratory. I love that.
And he's not just using, basic apps. He's getting into Spotify for Creators, a professional DA audio called FL Studio.
So our deep dive today is really about dissecting this lab. We're going to look at the 3 pillars he's set up.
Right. First, his kind of paradoxical approach to making AI metal. Then his very detailed plan for the program and for building a community.
And finally, and this is maybe the most interesting part, his commitment to using his own failures as a marketing tool.
Okay, let's unpack this.
So, starting with what I think is the biggest surprise here, the irony of the AI metal creator. Iwago says he is completely obsessed. I think the phrase he uses is deeply addicted.
He is all in on creating metal music with AI. It's not a side project, it's a fixation.
Total immersion. But here's the kicker, the part that's, it's honestly a bit hilarious.
Oh, the confession.
The confession. He has absolutely zero traditional musical foundation, none.
He's so blunt about it. He says, I cannot sing. I cannot play instruments.
And he can't do sequencing or beat making? What was the term he used for that?
Uchikomi. He says that's soul.
Right. Let's just pause on that for a second. For anyone listening who maybe isn't into digital music production, what does that inability signal?
It signals a complete lack of any digital musical skill. Uchikomi is how you program drums, bass lines, synth parts, with a mouse or a keyboard.
It's the basic mechanical skill you need?
Like the absolute baseline. Even if you're not a performer, you need that to build a song in a program like FL Studio. The fact that he says he can't even do that, it tells you everything.
It tells you the AI isn't just helping him.
No, it's doing 100% of the core creative work. He is completely, utterly reliant on its ability to generate music from a text prompt.
So he's not a musician. He's... what, a conceptualist? An AI metal conceptualist.
I think that's a perfect way to put it, because the source material explains why he's doing this. He had, and this is a quote, the strongest metal I thought of, just stuck in his head.
And he had no way to get it out. Not until these AI tools came along.
It's the ultimate case for AI and creativity, right? It solves the technical barrier problem. He calls the tool his best toy.
Because it just bypasses everything. All the years of practice, the calloused fingers, the music theory lessons.
All of it. Especially for a genre like metal that's so complex and fast, he gets to go straight from his idea to a nearly finished track.
And he's open about the tool he's using. He names it as Suno, or
Right. Suno is the engine. It's making the tracks. It's making the little jingles for the show.
Which brings up a technical question for me. If Suno is generating the music, why is he also using a professional-grade program like FL Studio? What's that for?
That's where his IT engineer brain really kicks in.
Okay.
He's serious about the final quality. Suno can spit out the raw idea, the riff, the drum pattern, but FL Studio is for the polish.
Mixing, mastering, adding effects, all that stuff.
Exactly. You take the parts the AI generates and then you mix them, you master them, you make them sound like a real professional metal record. It shows he's not just making demos, he's aiming for a commercial-grade sound.
So that's the distinction. The AI is the songwriter, but he's the audio engineer.
That's a critical distinction. And what's really fascinating is how his intent is shifting. He admits that he used to just make, jokey or gag tracks with the AI.
Just for fun.
Yeah, just messing around. But now, with the Garage, he says his goal is to get serious words about production and actually see some real growth.
But that ambition comes with a dose of some pretty stark honesty.
Mm-hmm.
He points out that his current numbers on Spotify and YouTube, they're not growing. They're flat.
So he's launching this whole structured, professional-sounding lab from a place of, stagnation. He's hoping that this process, this research, is going to force that growth to happen.
That level of transparency it's just so rare.
And that transparency leads us perfectly into the next section, which is all about the program structure and his vision for a community.
Right, because he's not just, dumping these AI metal tracks online and hoping for the best.
Not at all. He's building this really robust content framework around the entire process. He's essentially trying to monetize the journey itself.
And he details two very specific types of content. The first one is the AI metal corner.
Okay, so this is where he actually plays the tracks.
He plays the tracks, but more importantly, he gives what he calls say.
Which is like behind-the-scenes details, lore.
Exactly. Lore, commentary, the story behind the song that the AI created. He's adding a human narrative layer to the machine's output.
So that's the conceptualist we were talking about. He's building a world around the music.
Yep. Then the second type of content shows he has a real love for audio production that goes beyond just the music. He calls it radio production.
So like a proper radio show.
A proper radio show. He says he loves the whole process, writing the scripts, planning guest spots, designing the flow of the conversation, dropping in his custom jingles. It's almost like an old school broadcast, but it's dedicated to R&D for AI metal.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that passion for structure is really a key differentiator.
How so?
Well, it turns what could just be a playlist into like a serialized learning experience. He's using that IT engineer discipline to bring professional structure to this super experimental creative thing.
And the most valuable part of that output, I think, is how he plans to share what he's learning. He says he wants to share practical information, know-how, tips.
The Nishirna and Hru. He's turning his lab notes into a curriculum for his listeners.
Think about what that joy would actually be. It's not generic advice like write better prompts.
No, it would be super specific. He might show, 10 failed prompts where he was trying to get a certain kind of blast beat drum sound, and then he'd reveal the one key phrase that finally cracked it.
That's the recipe. That's the secret sauce. And for anyone else trying to use these tools, that's incredibly valuable.
So he's showing everything, the inputs, the failures, the successful outputs. It's all part of this constant progress report.
He's opening the hood of the car for everyone to look inside.
And that openness doesn't stop with the technical stuff. It extends to his whole vision for a community.
He knows he can't do it all alone.
Exactly. He recognizes his own limits, especially with something like prompt research that's changing so fast. He wants to build a community around AI metal to, as he puts it, boost the scene.
It's a very open source way of thinking about creativity.
It is. The traditional instinct for a creator is to hoard your secrets, right? But he's basically giving away the ingredients because he thinks a rising tide will lift all boats.
But isn't there a risk there? I mean, if you give away all your best tricks, your A's way, what makes you unique anymore?
That's a great question. And I think traditionally, yes, that would be a huge risk. But in the AI space, the tools are evolving so quickly that the process of learning becomes more valuable than any one piece of knowledge.
So he's positioning himself not as the guy with all the answers,
but as the guy who's learning the fastest and reporting back most diligently. That utility is what keeps you coming back. You're there for the education as much as the music.
Speaking of education, let's get to section 3. For me, this is the most compelling and maybe the most brilliant part of his whole strategy, the value of failure.
This is where he takes his biggest weakness and just turns it into a content machine.
His confession about marketing is just so blunt.
Yeah, he says, I am not good at SNS marketing at all. SNSN, no sugarcoating it.
Which is a huge, it's almost a fatal admission for someone trying to launch a creative project today. Most people would do anything to hide that.
But he's not hiding it. He's weaponizing it.
He's flipping the script entirely. He explains that because he's collected so many failures, he's got a mountain of lessons to share.
So his whole content idea is built around teaching people what not to do.
Exactly. So instead of being some kind of success guru,
he's the failure anti-guru, the anti-marketing expert. He is. He even references a concept like a failure teacher. He's basically saying he's going to stand up and report on every expensive, embarrassing mistake he makes.
A disastrous Instagram campaign, a YouTube strategy that completely tanks.
And he'll tell you why it failed so you don't have to make the same mistake.
In a world that is just saturated with generic, you-can-do-it advice, this feels like pure gold. Why is that model so powerful right now?
Well, it creates instant authority through vulnerability. When a creator only talks about their wins, you kind of write it off as luck or talent.
Right. Doesn't feel relatable.
But when someone details a specific costly failure, that's a real lesson. For you, the listener, this IT engineer is offering to take the financial and emotional hits of experimenting with marketing, and then he's just going to hand you the actionable data for free.
It's proof that transparency really can trump polished perfection. Especially when you're in a new field where the rules are still being written, his log of mistakes could be more valuable than a dozen marketing books.
It connects everything back to his lab concept. A real lab records failed experiments to find the path to success. Ago Garage records failed marketing to find the path to growth. Failure is the most valuable data point he has.
So let's pull all this together. What does the Ago Garage model really mean?
Well, it's this highly unique structure. It's all built around a transparent laboratory.
You have an IT engineer from Kobe, zero music background, and he's using an AI tool called Suno to create some seriously complex metal music.
And he's not selling you the finished product. He's selling you the public documentation of his research process. And on top of that, he's teaching you marketing by showing you all of his own mistakes.
It's a fascinating mix of high-tech creativity and, I guess, profoundly low ego content.
And this is clearly his main focus now. He does say he'll continue his separate live streams on Stylet and other platforms, but probably less often. All his energy is going into the structured content of Ago Garage.
He's betting everything on the idea that the process is the product.
Which leaves us with a really important question for you to think about. Whether you're a creator, an entrepreneur, anyone building something.
When the technical ability to create something amazing is basically outsourced to AI, does the value of a creator shift entirely away from the finished art and onto the shared, transparent journey of discovery?
And if you are launching your next big thing, should your strategy start not with your biggest win, but with your most expensive mistake?
That is definitely something to chew on. Is the future of content about how honestly you share the way you tried and failed, not what you ultimately achieved?
We think that might just be the critical shift. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the new world of AI, metal, and radical transparency.
We'll catch you on the next one.